Hi everybody, welcome back to Photorec.tv. I'm Toby. There are a couple of common questions that we get here at Photorec.tv. One is, what drone should I buy? That is near the top of that list. And this video is going to answer that question. As we move into 2022, here are my recommendations for the drones you should buy, along with some accessories that are worth adding to your cart. This video is brought to you by Squarespace. Do you plan to create some beautiful aerial photos, video? Well, Squarespace is a great place to display that work. They offer gorgeous starting templates with easy drag and drop interfaces. Pick your footage, pick your photos, and you've got a gorgeous website. You can try them out for free, 14 days, no credit card required. Start at squarespace.com/photorectv to save 10%. Let's start this video by talking about the DJI Mavic Air 2S. This is the drone that I think most of you should be considering. Why? Well, it's packed full of great features, including obstacle avoidance, which is helpful. It's got great tracking features for easy solo filming and good flight times, paired with a 1-inch sensor for good low light capabilities, 4K at 60 frames per second for smooth B-roll, and that's all in this portable and somewhat affordable drone. This is the drone that I take with me on most of my trips. It's friendly to fly, but you're not going to outgrow it anytime soon. Look how portable that is. Now, the Fly More combo package is $12.99, which I recognize it's not cheap. But as I said, this drone is capable of doing some serious work. By the way, most Fly More combos are the drone plus 3 batteries, so 3 batteries total. Maybe we should say the drone and a battery and 2 extras. A couple other odds and ends, and value-wise, it is almost always a good deal to get the Fly More combo. I think you should have a minimum of 2 batteries on hand, so that price right there gets you close to the value of the Fly More combo. There is one downside besides that price that bothers me with this drone. It's so friendly and portable, but it doesn't offer USB charging. So when you're really trying to travel light, or you might be out in the field for a long period of time, it's a little trickier to charge. I found an accessory that fixes that, so stay tuned for that section of the video. Now, the next drone that I want to talk about is the Mavic Mini 2, or, well, we're supposed to just say Mini 2. This incredibly portable and lightweight drone, and affordable, is something you should consider if you're on a budget, but you still want to get a camera in the air. It does lack tracking and obstacle avoidance, which certainly limits its usefulness. And no obstacle avoidance means, as a beginner flyer, you're going to need to pay more attention when flying. But the OcuSync technology, that is the remote to drone connection, provides fantastic range, like miles further than you should fly it away from you. And even more importantly, clear video feed at serious distances, even in denser residential areas. The sensor produces good quality images, allows raw capture and 4K video, and I love that this drone will charge via USB with no other accessories needed, and just makes it that much easier to travel with. One more small benefit: no FAA registration required. The Fly More combo is $5.99. Now, the original Mini is still being sold by DJI. Its Fly More combo is just $3.99. At the time that I reviewed the original Mini, I was really impressed with what they packed into such a tiny drone. I'll link my full reviews of each of these drones right down below. But now that we have the upgraded Mini 2 in that same size and weight, I think most of you should spend the extra money and get the Mini 2. The original uses just Wi-Fi for the drone to remote connection, which can really limit the range, especially in more residential environments and in some European countries where that Wi-Fi connection is further limited. You might be looking at less than 400 meters of range and seeing way more interference in the video feed, which makes it harder to smoothly capture cinematic video. If you plan to fly more out in the wilds, this will impact you a little bit less, but you are also limited to just JPEGs and a max resolution of 2.7K for video with the original Mini. But if you want to see what owning a drone is like and still have the easy experience of DJI flying, it's hard to beat the value of the Mini 1, though I think the potential of you outgrowing this drone soon is likely. Now let's talk about the powerhouse, the Mavic 3. It's got a micro Four Thirds sensor. It's going to give you awesome quality photos and video. You have an additional sensor dedicated to a 28-time telephoto camera, 28 times zoom. That's amazing. An incredible flight time of over 40 minutes. That's all the good news. The bad news, well, the sign version is going to cost you $5,000. That's pricey, but it does provide 1 terabyte of on-drone storage. And of course, with that micro Four Thirds sensor, you're going to be capturing incredibly high quality video. There is nothing else in that price range and portability that's going to give you that level of quality. The Mavic 3 is the drone to buy if you need to create high quality cinematic photos and video on a budget. Now, that might be funny to say on a budget, looking at $5,000, but the drones that improve on what the Mavic 3 is offering easily cost 2 times the price. The sign version does include the new Pro remote, which is similar to the Smart remote. I've reviewed that in the past. It makes the package a little bit less portable, but that bright and dedicated screen is faster to set up and less hassle. I highly recommend it if you're serious about your drone photos and videos. Now, there are more affordable versions of the Mavic 3. You can get it down to closer to $2,000, giving up that remote and that onboard storage. One bummer, at the time of recording, all of those different versions are missing quite a few features that the Air 2S has, like object tracking and pre-programmed shots. That's all coming in a firmware update in January, so just be aware about that. Overall, it's an incredible drone, but honestly, I think it provides more than most of us need, especially if you're watching this channel. I do love that they offer a USB charging method now, though. That is impressive. Let's switch gears a little bit. Still talking about drones, but in early 2021, DJI released their FPV drone, and honestly, I have never had as much fun flying as I have with this drone. It brings together the ease of flying a DJI drone, and they really are all easy to fly. Trust me. But it combines that with the option for full manual control and an incredibly responsive drone that gives you a jet fighter-like experience. You wear the goggles when you fly it. And okay, I should take a second and apologize to jet fighter pilots out there because I know this isn't actually the same, but it is the closest I will ever get. The quality of photos and videos you get from this drone are decent, but it's really geared more for the purpose of FPVing. So a little bit less stabilization. The camera isn't 4-axis, it's only 2-axis. It requires or relies a little bit more on electronic stabilization. It is more about creating that FPV looking footage. If you're looking to create stable cinematic footage and kind of great photos, well, you should consider one of the other drones I already mentioned. Now, the FPV drone is $12.99. It was $9.99 for a bit during holiday sales. I hope we'll see that return in January. I don't know for sure. Now, if you're interested in the idea of FPV droning, you might want to start with something a little bit more affordable. The problem is, when you look at the prices of these drones, they often don't include the controller and the goggles, both of which are required to do FPV flying. And if you want to capture footage of your flight, you need a good camera. You add all of that up, and actually, the $12.99 becomes fairly competitive versus other drones in this category. But if you want to just try your hand at FPV flying, I recommend the Emax Easy Pilot FPV drone kit. Oh, look how little it is. It's adorable, and yes, mine has some grass stains on it. This drone offers no abilities to record or capture footage, but it does give you an FPV flying experience indoors and outdoors, as long as there's not a breeze. This thing is very small and lightweight, but it is affordable and very nicely comes with everything you need in the box to fly. So I'd recommend this setup. I'd also recommend that you have a slightly larger house than mine if you want to fly indoors. If you're looking for an easy-to-fly indoor drone, it's not challenging at all, but again, gives you the experience of flying a DJI drone. The Tello is still sold by DJI. That's just $99. Pairs with your smartphone and the DJI app. Again, very easy to fly inside, unlike these little FPV drones, which are going to take you some practice. They withstand crashes quite well. This video might seem a bit like an ad for DJI. I mean, they dominate the market right now. Sometimes I feel like DJI is the Kleenex of the drone world. I'd love to see some real competition, and there are other brands out there. They're just nowhere near the quality and reliability, with a couple of exceptions. If you're looking for a drone that excels at tracking, the Skydio 2 is going to do that very well. The downside is it doesn't do other things so well. So while the tracking is better than the current DJI state of tracking, the other features aren't quite as good. And then there's Autel. They make good drones. I love their integrated screen controller. Quality is good, but overall, again, as a package, the DJI drones in that same price range are just a little superior. Unless there's something specific that Autel offers, like the fact that they don't do geofencing, I think you're best off to go with a DJI drone. Now, let's switch to talk about some accessories, but first I do want to tell you that this video is brought to you by Squarespace. Squarespace is the easiest way to build a gorgeous website. They've got high-quality starting templates that can be completely customized to fit your needs, and their step-by-step checklist walks you through the setup process. If at any time you get stuck, 24/7 tech support is there to help you get unstuck. They've got easy integration with Vimeo, YouTube, Instagram. That all allows you to bring your content into the site, or you can publish directly into Squarespace. This includes creating high-quality background videos to grab your viewers' attention. This, plus the e-commerce tools, a host of marketing tools and analytics, it provides everything you need in one polished and excellent user face. Try Squarespace for free today. For up to 14 days, no credit card required. Start at squarespace.com/PhotorecTV to save 10% when you do go to buy. I mentioned the smart remote. I am a fan, but if you have an iPad, this Mav mount adapter is sweet. I've tried a few others, and they're janky. And when you're talking about holding a larger iPad, you want to really make sure it's secure, and this Mav mount is. And let me tell you, having a bigger, brighter screen that you get from an iPad really improves your flying, and more importantly, your photo and video capturing. You can really clearly see exactly what you're getting. And as an Android user, I can say this with certainty, the iOS version of the DJI Fly app is less buggy than Android. I like having an iOS device to use for flying. Flying over water, these little floats are a nice peace of mind. Now, they're not going to necessarily keep your drone from getting wet, but they're going to make your drone recoverable, which sometimes for insurance purposes with a DJI Refresh Care plan is required. And of course, it's nice not to pollute some lake or river with your drone. I recommend these little floats. I've used them in Antarctica and Arctic, and they work decently well. And yes, they're basically small pool noodles connected to a 3D printed frame. The next thing I'm going to mention is a drone pad. I resisted buying one of these for quite some time. And then I was taking off with a new drone, and as it took off, everything got coated in a bit of grime and dust. So honestly, it's not so much as having a high visibility spot to take off from, as it is protecting your drone from whatever it is taking off of and also landing on. So sand, snow, dirt, they're actually pretty useful. When you buy the Fly More combo, you get a multi-charger for the batteries, but the charger only charges one battery at a time. This charger, it's ugly, but it allows you to charge multiple batteries at the same time, greatly speeding up how quickly you can get back into the air. It's got these little connectors. It also provides 2 USB ports. I really like this. But if you want to go even more portable, I mentioned this a while ago, you can buy this USB charger that will allow you to charge your Air 2S batteries via USB. It actually accepts 2 inputs. You need to use both to charge at a reasonable rate. One, it's going to take a little bit longer. The DJI Care Refresh Plan. That's the next question everybody asks me after I recommend a drone. Should I get the Care Refresh thing? Here's what I'd say. I'd say check with your insurance company. They might cover your drone, especially if you have business insurance. Mine is actually covered under State Farm. Now, for the more affordable drones, your deductible might be more than what replacing the drone would be. In those cases, the care refresh program would probably be a better option. And it certainly can be a nice peace of mind as a beginner to know that a bad crash won't be a terrible financial burden. I haven't listed filters in my list because many DJI drones now come with decent filters. I will say that I like having the option of putting on a circular polarizer filter. Freewell does make an affordable CPL filter that I can recommend. And the last accessory that I want to mention is actually an app and subscription service. I've mentioned this on prior drone reviews. AirData UAV is a great way to track your flights across different drones. Once installed, it's all automatic and has a ton of great info at your fingertips. They offer a free plan, but they have a subscription, just a little bit more, and they can be worth it depending on how much you fly. So at the end of 2021, beginning of 2022, which drone do you think is the best value on the list? Leave that comment right down below, along with any accessories you think I missed. Do you think you'll be purchasing a drone in 2022 or upgrading an existing one? Let me know. Thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, along with the little bell so you'll be notified of future videos. Thumbs up is appreciated too. Thanks. Bye-bye.
Now let's take a look at what happens when you act like a dummy and turn off obstacle avoidance. We were photographing in the Tuscany region and spied this cool old kind of ruined farmhouse building out in the field. And I was doing some circles. And then I thought, well, I wonder if I can fit through these windows. They look wide enough. Obstacle avoidance said, no, you shouldn't do that. So I turned obstacle avoidance off and tried again. And this is what happened. At first I thought I clipped that tree inside, but when I look carefully now, I actually just got a little too close to the left-hand side window. Good news, drone is fine. Had to replace the propellers, and I do have that error now of upward sensor, but it flies just fine.